I'm Barry Malfors. I'm the chairman of the Communications Committee for Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. I'm also the vice chairman of the board. And we are here, of course, to have a meeting for that committee here today. And I'd like to thank everybody who would bother to take out their time to be here with us to hear what we have to say regarding this committee. The first item on the agenda, it is about 104 or 105, and I'm going to call the meeting to order and ask that Ms. Blackwood would read the statement of announcement.
A meeting notice announcing the date, time, and place of the June 24th, 2022 Communications Subcommittee meeting was distributed June 22nd, 2022 to the appropriate media and other groups or individuals who have requested notification. The announcement and agenda were posted to the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs Central Administrative Office and on the website. Americans with Disabilities Act. The public has been notified that accommodations such as interpreters, mobility assistants, or other assistance will be provided to individuals with disabilities and special needs if requested in advance.
Thank you, ma'am. The next thing I want to pay all before we adopt the agenda is that this meeting will be held similar to the way we do the policy committee meetings with what's called unanimous consent, which means that whenever I call for a vote, if I do not hear an objection, it will pass unanimously. And if I do hear an objection, please say I object, I need to say this. And so therefore we don't have to say motion and second and all that sort of thing. Most people knows it's page 48 of the 12th edition of Robert's Rules of Order. So the next item on the is the invocation, and I'm going to give the invocation very quickly. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you for the unique opportunity, not only to help those with disabilities, but to help them through improving our communications through Ddsn, something that has been needed for many years before we came around. Which makes me even more thankful that you would allow this particular commission and those employees in it to be a part of Ddsn at this time. We would ask you to be with each one of our people that we serve and have them remember in some way or another that they are valuable and they have tremendous self-worth, and that we are going to do all we can to represent them in the way that you would see fit. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. So if I don't hear an objection in 3 seconds, the agenda will be adopted as written. The agenda is adopted as written. Ms. Robert, would you mind reading our justification of our committee?
Oh, yes.
There it is.
Okay. Okay. So the justification for this communications committee by the commission is that strong modern branding and communications can visually strengthen a reputation, build credibility and trust with consumers, families, legislators, and the community, and bring pride to employees and providers who work tirelessly to serve, protect, and advocate for people with disabilities. For government agency, branding is about managing and strengthening how constituents see them. What is their reputation? How do they make people feel? What assumptions do people have about them? A strong government brand strategy sets the tone for constituents to effectively know who they are, what services they provide, and how they are a trustworthy source of information and support.
Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted that for the record because it's been a while since we met, so I wanted everybody to know who was listening here today what the purpose of our committee that we started a little over a year ago is about. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes from the last meeting. So There again, if I don't have an objection, in 3 seconds, the minutes will be adopted. Moving on, the minutes are adopted. Moving on to the first item of new business, which is probably the most important item of today. We're going to turn this over to PJ to talk to us about the Ddsn logo and subsequently the Commission on Disabilities logo.
Well, thank you for asking me to come speak about it. And I have to apologize for the people on the call. I did not get to send out the folios to them. I'll have to send it to them after the meeting if that's okay. We were still working on it up until basically this morning. So there was a lot of very fine tuning that needed to be done. But for those of you who are here, we are developing a new logo for Ddsn. If you look on the sheet provided, talk about the justification for the new logo and what we would want it to represent as far as Ddsn as an agency. There are a lot of logos out there that have palmettos in it. What we wanted to do was utilize that palmetto, but also create a logo that also represents who we are as an agency, who we serve, and what we do for the people of South Carolina. So in the folio that's marked with the Ddsn logo, you'll see on the side, on the inside, we have a single iconic logo of the palmetto. We wanted it to be unique in that there are a lot of palmettos out there, but there are not palmettos that are made up like the way ours is made up. Modern iconography, as far as from the company standpoint, they want modern logos to reflect the agency or the company. And there's a lot of hidden messaging that you'll see in a lot of modern logos. So with that, we went to our employees as well as to our partners, and we gathered basically a lot of baseline information on what things represent the disabled community. What we found was a lot of hand symbolism. So the hand represents a lot of things. An outstretched hand means, a helping hand to those that are in need, as well as representing different disabilities. Autism uses the hand quite frequently, as well as other groups that represent the disabled. You will see the hand as a very important icon in that. So what we did was we decided to incorporate that iconography. We went through a number of different styles of hands, whether straight, slightly curved. But ultimately, from the feedback we received, we wanted the people and the agencies and the groups that we work with wanted to see some diversity. So you will see big hand, different sized hands representing, adults, women, children, to represent the diversity of the people we serve. I know it's very important that it is easily recognizable as a South Carolina symbol. So we decided to incorporate our state into the center of the palm, representing the heart of palms, in a sense. The other interesting feedback we got was, since South Carolina is a heart-shaped state, that having it in the center of the palm also gives a symbolism that that our agency is, at the heart of the help that we give in outreached hands. So we incorporated a lot of this symbolism and use into creating these two icons. So the icons you see in front of you are basically the two finalists. We have kind of a stylized part of Palm's logo with a what looks like a triangular looking trunk, and one that's a slightly more realistic looking trunk. The symbols below are just some different looks at showing how the icon looks at a large as well as small level, meaning it can be used as, from everything from email signatures to larger uses for, print, as well as for signage. So we were looking at it from the big and small perspective, as well as from the symbolic perspective. You see the palm at a small level, but when you see it at a larger level, you start seeing the symbolism in it. There was also feedback that the color selection should represent what South Carolina is. So we went with the blue, the blue of the state flag. Symbolically, looking at iconography, blue represents knowledge, dedication, leadership, and wisdom. All things that we want to convey as an agency to the people we serve. That would be our proposal for the new DDSN logo. I will send this out to the rest of the commission, and for you to take a look at, give feedback, and see if this is something that you would feel represent the agency.
So the three, I guess, variations under the first one is just another way to use it?
Yes.
Okay.
There's just different ways to use it. Plus, there's also some social media use. There's a lot of social media that uses round, square, or iconic symbolism. So these are just different representations that we could place the icon in and still have it to be recognizable, and use our DDSN initials rather than having it spelled out. Because there are situations where you can't spell everything out, but you want to still be able to represent the agency.
Right.
First question I have, one of the questions I have is it says, I'm assuming that we're basically going to be choosing between this A section and this B section. And so and they both have the same thing, what I'm going to ask about, which is they have CDSN. So why wouldn't we have SCDDSN or just DSN in there?
Are you talking for the commissioner logo or for our logo?
We have two commissioner.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm looking at.
There's a commissioner, that's the next agenda item.
I'm looking at,
So
sorry.
you just wanted to pull the one that says,
Mercy.
They do look very much alike for a reason. The reason we don't put South Carolina DDSN or SCDDSN in applications where it's very obvious that it's part of the state, we can add to that, either underneath it or beside it if it's necessary.
This says, well, now I'm sorry, I was looking at our commission logo and I thought.
I'm not. What are we looking, what's the difference in the two?
One's for the commission, one's for the agency.
Okay, all right.
They do have them extraordinarily similar, however.
just when you said you was trying to keep it simple.
Yeah.
There's really no difference except the words.
Really, it's just the wording and the initials is really the big difference.
We haven't. PJ can talk about with whom he worked.
I have a graphic designer by the name of Travis Tom. He's a commercial graphic designer who has a background in doing corporate logos. He also helped design some of the logos for like the Georgia Special Olympics. So I picked him because of his background and his understanding of the disability community.
Jim,
guess-
maybe you can talk about some of that you solicited input, not only like internally, but also
Sure. So,
some of our stakeholder and advocacy.
This logo is markedly different from our initial comps. We had a lot of feedback from not only internally from our employees, but also from the disability community. We went to the leadership and asked, does this fit Ddsn? Does this represent whom we serve? Is this, was there any objection to our use of, the symbolism of the hands? Or just if they felt the logo did or did not fit our brand? And overwhelmingly, the feedback was that they felt it represented Ddsn well, and they were excited that we were using some very symbolic, the hand usage especially, incorporating that as part of the logo instead of just going with just a palmetto like we had before.
You might want to give her the 2 sentences you said about the hand whenever she wasn't in here.
Yeah, tell me.
So when we were doing, basically our baseline or background research on iconography amongst, the different groups that have logos that represent the disabled community, there was a lot of symbolism of people either helping or hand gestures, or the use of the hand as incorporated in a large part with a lot of logos, as well as symbolism, icons, and artwork. So we decided to incorporate the helping hands, or the outreach hands, or the symbolic hands that are used in a lot of disability logos as representing the palm fronds. So the palms of the hands also become the leaves or the palms of the fronds of the palmetto tree.
I don't have any problem with the agency using it. I'm not wild about the commission one.
Okay.
I mean, I will tell you, I prefer a more of a seal look for a commission.
Okay.
Something that looks more like this with South Dakota Department of Special Needs, or, DDSN. I think that looks more official. This I don't mind, for the agency to use on stuff, but I think there needs to be more of a differentiation between the commission agency and the commission.
So I initially thought that the logo should be complementary to the agency, so I made it the same but slightly different in that. And that's what you're saying. It looks very similar except for.
Right. I would prefer the commission to stick with something more of a seal look, a more official look. This just looks real casual, and that's great for the agency. But I think for the commission, it's got to be more formal state agency look for the commission, in my opinion. I mean,
This is what we were looking at for the commission at one time. So it'd be some variation of that, I would think. I think the reason she's mentioned, we're actually going to a second item. Right now we're on the agency logo. So let's finish that and then we'll go to the commission. How about that?
So as far as the agency logo, do you see, as far as the 2 candidate logos we have up, any need for change or revision or objection to what we currently have? I mean, this is not anything we need to vote on right now, but.
Did you make the trunk a little wider, like a true palmetto tree trunk? They're typically can be kind of, I don't know, bulky as opposed to like super thin, so I just was curious how it looked, if you tried it at all a little bigger, or
we had one of those as an addition to really pick up. The people did like the tapered trunk and the realistic one without the ring. We had ones that are ringed, slightly thicker. This thinner one, for some reason, came out amongst the top 2.
Okay, all right.
So we're choosing between A and B on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I had to pick, I like B the best. I think B looks more realistic.
Okay. So the more realistic version
Yeah.
seems to fit better.
B better.
Yeah.
Now, as far as
Dave, what do you think?
I think B is better. I wanted to ask a couple of questions about about B, once we got, now that we got to B, pretty much. I just wanted to ask if, I guess I'm trying to figure out what, I don't dislike any of them except for the top one too particularly. And the only reason I say that is that it doesn't have any words or anything else beside it.
It's
So
really just there to just show the logo.
I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I was trying to figure out where we
It
would use that.
wouldn't ever be by itself like
Okay,
that.
all right,
So
all right, all right.
it was just, so if you wanted to really look at a little more detailed look, a slightly larger look at the logo.
Okay, I got you. All right. all
Yeah,
right.
it's just representing the icon, and the others, show its uses, different potential uses. Once the logo is approved, we're going to be building a media guide, basically all the different uses, everything from business cards to shirts to marketing items to billboards and signage. That all still needs to be developed. So this is really the first big step, is agreeing upon what the icon should look like.
I just have a, the only other thing I was going to say is that on that same line, I would prefer we knocked out the one on the far left. I mean, the far right, which doesn't have any words or any initials or anything. It just has the tree and with the background being blue. And
That would be just for social media, for say like Instagram.
Yeah, for like the circle that has. the
Yeah,
circle.
these are variations.
Because on social media, it is super tiny, and then the name is right next to it when you look at the formatting.
Yeah.
You generally don't put initials or names in that small icon when you're doing social media, because it's usually not recognizable. Usually your title name of your username for your page is what carries.
Whatever.
So that small icon is really just for a specific use for social media.
That requires a circle.
So Instagram and Twitter use that small circular logo, and Facebook to some extent as well uses that as the lead folio for your page.
If I
Sorry,
may,
of course.
as PJ was describing, once we have your approval to proceed with one of these two, and it sounds like we're leaning B, I agree. Then we'll establish a style guide. And that style guide gets much more in the weeds of
It'll
these
be
are
very
the
comprehensive.
occasions in which you would use these different variations. So the one that we're talking about now that would be limited to an Instagram or others that require the circle, the style guide can specify that it can't be used alone if there's not also identifying language with our agency name. So
Okay,
we'll have that style guide that'll like go into all of that detail.
But right now, you're just saying
So this one-
proposed looks.
all right, so this one on the far right that I'm talking about that I was concerned about would always have the word somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, well then you just solved my problem.
Yeah, so there's always going to be identifying titling with it, but it's just for a specific purpose.
So most likely it'll be this one, Barry, most all the time. Letterhead, business cards, it's the full tree and name all together.
That one right there.
Yeah.
And we'll also be developing that same sort of guidance for like our different centers. So there'll be a iconic look for, say, the Whitten Center or the PD regional centers. So they'll each get their own style guide as well with this. So we'll be developing it for all our locations and all uses that we have in the agency from top to bottom. And that's coming next.
And vendors that, reproduce tablecloth or a t-shirt or whatever has that, knows that the logo has to stay within these measurements, this size, this usage, this color, this font, like all those things
Right.
that help keep things
Do
consistent.
we have a color? What's our color number? Do we know color number?
We're determining that. I mean,
Trying to get-
there's specific Pantone color for that blue, that South Carolina flag blue. Once we establish our color palette, I mean, the blue is one of a number of colors that will work with our logo as well as complementary colors. So when we do things secondarily, like when we create letterhead or signage or, different color items, they will have very specific CMYK and Pantone colors attached. So we will have a palette of colors that are approved for use with our logo as well, as part of the media guide.
Okay, then I guess for today, I guess we pretty much decided, and for the record, I like the one with the words on the side much better than the one with the words at the bottom.
Sure.
I think we use that most often. I don't know where you.
Sometimes you just have to have a different variation.
I know you have to do it
of
differently, but I'm just saying, every time you could, I would say, let's use the side, and every
Sure.
time you couldn't, you do.
And we can specify that in the media guide. Use it for letterhead or use it specifically for when it's displayed on a website or, at the end of a signature, things like that.
Yeah, we have no choice but to put it in the bottom.
But we don't have those guidelines yet, but we will come.
Oh, I know. All right, well then moving on, we're gonna, assume that the committee has approved B then.
So I can make a motion
Well,
to submit
you can do it that way if you want.
B to the full commission at our next meeting.
Yeah, so this is really, if you want it as a candidate, we will submit it fully at the next commission meeting.
So I make a motion for the new DDSN logo version B to be submitted as a recommendation out of this committee at our next commission meeting for the commission, full commission to approve.
Right.
Yeah.
Agency logo for the full commission.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, if we do not, well, she did that way, we need to do a second. So would you second that, sir?
Second.
Motion made, seconded, no further discussion. Motion passes as that. The next item on the agenda is the commission logo.
Sorry, I didn't write all that. That's what we're doing together. I apologize.
And
So for the CDSN logo, you would want to go with B, would you want to go with B, but reworked in a circular?
I don't think so.
well, what we wanted, I think we have to go to the Valley's drawing board on this one and meet in a couple of months. Because we're trying to incorporate something similar to this, right?
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to do something similar to that. And the reason is because A, the commission is much different than the agency is. It's the overseer of the agency, A, and B, the governor appoints us. So therefore, we want to incorporate something that relates to the governor, which would be the seal, we think, in the logo for the agency. And that's really the reason we want a separate logo for the agency, so that it'll show its separateness and its, I guess the other thing would be, I don't necessarily think this is the best word to use, but I guess the other thing you could say is more formal logo, much more formal. I don't know what variation of this we would use, because it certainly doesn't have to be this, but it'd be something like this that could be readily used.
Could the tree that we're using in the new,
Would you like, say, a more detailed version of the current DDSN logo, much more formally done work inside of a circular logo? So there's still that connection between DDSN and SE.
The tree could be.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
That can be done. We certainly, that can be done.
The other big key thing we want, I would think that, you gotta help me with this one, because
Okay.
we're obviously.
And I
on
do
the same
not want
page.
CDSN, I want SCDDSN.
You want it spelled out?
I do not like CDSN. That's just-
No, you want to have SC DDSN. And this commission, I don't really think we should have SC DDSN on anything. I really think it should be SC DDSN or DDSN.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have the S without the C
Yeah,
at all, I would think, on any logo.
that's right.
I mean, we need to make another motion, we can, but I don't think we'd ever want to do that. Because that would be Carolina's, like North Carolina and South Carolina, and we're not. So, or at least that's, those of us that are from here, that's what we would think of.
If I may, I think he was using C for commission.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, that's a little different.
So it would be SCCDSN.
that's right. That's
I
right.
just wanted to clarify, he wasn't trying to use Carolina alone. He
What I was
referring-
trying to do is to show that relationship, that the only difference would be one letter.
Yeah, I'm not wrong about this.
Okay.
Okay, well, we need to, see then.
So SCCDSN, if you were going to abbreviate it, you would want it.
Which would be very,
Okay.
which would be less likely than any other, I mean, you know,
We won't abbreviate.
we want to be abbreviating it though, because that's part of it.
Even in small applications, you wouldn't want it.
I would prefer it be around the.
Well, just for the
somehow
formal
South
logo.
Carolina
Yeah.
Disability Commission.
See, that's what I was gonna bring up, and that's the reason I wanted to bring this today, was because, see how this says commission on and disability special needs down here? I think that's what you're more looking at, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be something more like that. It just.
That has the words all the way around.
We can certainly rework that. What I would propose is if we could do a little more formalized version of the DDSN logo within the circular seal to show the relationship between the commission and DDSN. You know,
We would look at that, we would look seriously at that, and I think that, like she just said, smart lady Robin is, that the tree could be incorporated.
yes, and we can create a much more formal version, much more detailed version. It sounds like what the commission wants in terms of formality is a lot more detail in their logo, which is completely doable. The way I was going, and I apologize for that, was I was going with trying to keep things within brand. When I do branding, I try to keep everything within brand, and that's why I made the commission logo the way it was. So I misunderstood what you guys needed, and I can certainly have a new one made. It's not a problem.
Okay, well, then we'll meet, we'll meet at another time whenever that new one is made to do that.
I can work on it as soon as next week, so that's not a problem.
Okay. Okay, well then we're just gonna leave that as reworking the commission logo. And we're gonna move on to the next item on the agenda since it's already getting late and we have a little bit more stuff to do here. The next item on the agenda is the next most important item on the agenda, which is the website overhaul, basically. And 1 and 2 in the website is really incorporated. The planned website changes to the current site, and as soon as we get done with that, then I'll just say what the purpose of number 2 is. But so we'll move on now to the planned website changes to the current site, and or anything to do with the website you want to tell us, PJ.
I think it might be Harlan.
Harlan does that?
I'm facilitating the website revamp. So of course that involves communications, it involves IT, it involves internal staff, it involves the advocacy groups we work with, parents, consumers, and other state agencies. So we're currently in the process of collecting input from all of these different groups in different ways. And so based on the feedback that we received and analysis of that, we'll work with IT to develop requirements and then proceed with website updates. We're of course also considering what other states are doing and using them as examples that we can pull from to include pertinent information. As of now, we've put the internal DDSN staff survey out, and we have over 100 responses, and it just went out on Monday. So we're getting a lot of feedback. I haven't even begun to synthesize that, but all of that information will be incorporated, and we'll be collecting data systematically as well as in different ways so that we can make sure that all of those that use the website provide that feedback, and then we can use it to really make a great product at the end. Do y'all have any
Can you
questions?
also send that survey out to the commissioners? Because I do know a lot of people call us and give us feedback about the website. So we can surely share some of the stuff that we're given on a daily basis on this. So I'd be happy to do that for you.
Okay, that would be great. Thanks. Do you have any other questions for me about the website?
So if we, are all of the sections of the website currently like functioning and accessible to people like right now as it stands? Or
Greg, I don't know if you want to add anything about that, but I will say that, of course, ADA compliance is something that we'll be considering and implementing as part of the website overhaul. And if things are not currently meeting ADA requirements, obviously the goal is for them to do so in the future.
Right, and currently, as far as we know, there aren't any real broken links on the website, so everything seems to be functioning as it should. And if we get any reports or you guys hear anything that's broken, please let us know and we'll jump right on it and get it fixed.
Are we doing the overhaul in-house or are we contracting that out?
As it stands right now, we're probably going to go external with that, just because we feel like there's some guys out there that can do it and have done it for other agencies and would do it faster, and they have more experience with developing the type of site that we need.
Good.
And I'll add to that, we've been having planning meetings, I think monthly, to stay on track and provide updates. But part of the requirements that are going to be developed through the systematic collection of information will help guide us to know that if it is something that we can do in-house versus if it's something we should contract out. So those requirements will help us make that determination, that final determination, I should say.
updated on how things are going with the process, and whenever y'all have any information about it that you can share would be great. It's, a site that desperately needs to be updated. It's been like that for years, and just hope that we can move it along.
Yeah, I would like to definitely see a section for most frequently asked questions. Or something that says, I need DDSN services, what do I do? Or my family member needs DDSN services, what do I do? Because that's a call I get incessantly. And I think if we could have a click button where they can say, okay, first step is to contact this person, second step, I think that would make it really easy. And the other thing we don't have or didn't have last time I looked is email addresses for staff, contact us things. It was just a box at the time. And I think you had to just put in your question in it. We don't know where it went exactly.
There's an internal process for those inquiries that get routed to the appropriate parties. And of course, if you find that those are not getting fielded or responded to, please let us know so we can address that internally. But there's a process in place for that.
If we could have something that says, who are we kind of, and then in that say, okay, if you have a problem with your billing, this is the person you call. If you have a problem with your respite provider, here's an email address, and then have their email address where they click on it and send an email from there. Yes.
And this is just from my experience of doing some websites. We usually don't want to have our emails openly on.
That's fine.
Because web crawlers that pick it up, and then our people will get spammed. Our IT systems will just absolutely get slammed with lots and lots of spam.
If we can have a box for each division or something, where if they need a phone number or something where they can get hold of somebody to answer their questions. That's the prime complaint I get as chairman is I call and I can't figure out who I need to talk to and I never get to the right person. I actually asked a question. I'm on a lot of private, disability groups because I have a child that's disabled. And so last night I just said, tell me about your services with DDSN and not necessarily in South Carolina, but nationwide. Tell me about your services with Voc Rehab. And that was the consistent answer to the question across the nation was I call and I ask this question and I get transferred 10 times and I never get a firm answer. And so that's something I want us to make sure we're taking care of in South Carolina.
Well, thank you for sharing that feedback. It's super helpful, Commissioner, and we'll definitely include that as part of our feedback received and included as we make decisions moving forward for the website.
Thank you, Marla.
And we'll definitely look at how to secure the information out there so we don't get inundated with spams or, the robocallers that, that come in as well. So we'll work on all of that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Buttons do work in case. Because it's not identifiable.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a question is there, but a button. If I'm looking for autism, I have an autism button. And the person just click on that button and the email is not exposed.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it.
Yeah, there's ways to make sure that we secure the site. So, and we'll do all of that.
That'd be great. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Any other questions?
Barry, the number 2, the commission member, pictures and biographies. Were you speaking to that, or did you want me to speak to that, or that's under the next item?
You can if you want.
I didn't know exactly if you were taking the lead with that before they sat down, or if you wanted me to. Because I think I know what you're talking about with that, but I'm not sure. So
You want me
the
to-
commission member pictures,
Right. I
what do you want
have.
to say about that?
I have the commission member pictures that we're trying to use for both the website and the wall that we're trying to put them on as you walk into at the entrance of the place. And so if we'll vote on it here, but if everybody on the commission knows about what we're trying to do with that and are all in favor, as far as I know, at least 6 out of 7 are, or all 7, I'm not sure. So the reason I was on here was just to let y'all know that I had the pictures here today and that we were going to give them to y'all and that we would expect them to be on as soon as possible unless our executive director has an objection, which means, PJ, we'd ask for you to get us some 8x10. I have the pictures printed already. All we have to do is you just have to get the frames and put them on.
Sure, that won't be a problem.
Put them in the front, however y'all think they should be in the front entrance. We're going to put those up.
In the front lobby.
In the front lobby, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Entrance of the lobby, I should say. Yeah, that's what we're planning to do. And it's just something we've been wanting to do for a long time, and so we'd appreciate it if we could get right to it unless there was some objection from, let's say, our executive director. If not, we'll hope they'll be up by the end of the month.
And then I think there's 2 missing biographies on the website.
Yeah, and then the biographies is the next
I
thing.
think Ed's missing, correct?
Yes,
And
and
David.
David is missing.
So,
David probably has one online, I would think, since he was a former senator.
I don't know, but we
He should.
would like to have, everybody's,
They can just sit down with you, PJ.
I can follow up with
And
them and
you
get
can
their
follow up and
biographies.
write them
Not a
a bio, that would be
Okay.
great.
thanks.
And as long as we get them in IT, we'll
Yeah.
make sure they get on the
We'll
website.
we'll get them updated.
That'd be great.
Mine should be on.
I don't think it is,
What?
but anyway.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I think we're good with the website overhaul. Should we move on to the?
Okay, the next item on the agenda
awards?
is
So,
the awards. Is the big topic. The Silver Palmetto Award is we was just wondering what we were planning on doing about I'll let Robin take this one if she wants to, but I was wondering what our plan was for the Silver Palmetto Award for this year. Or if we have
Yeah, I
one.
believe it's an annual award. I don't have all the details on it. I know it's agency-led, agency-run, agency-managed, but I just wanted to see if anyone had an update, if we were going to be doing that award again. Is it,
That was one that just started.
I don't know when
2
it
years.
started.
Well, I think we've only given one out. I guess we need to decide if
We
we're,
did 2 years,
oh, we did 2 years, okay.
yeah.
Well, we need to know then it's been only about 2 years, so we just need to know if we're planning on continuing that, and if we are, then we need to give that in the next fiscal year.
Yeah, it's awarded to providers, from what I can tell. Do you have any
The
information?
announcement on the process starts in November for nominations. We have a judging period in December. We contact the winners in January, and we'll be announcing the winners in 2023 for the silver. We've passed the deadline for the gold, which was supposed to happen in like April and May. The process was supposed to start then.
What's the main difference between the two awards? Do you know? I don't know that I even heard of it.
I didn't even know there was a word.
A gold one.
The
I didn't know there
difference-
was a gold one. I thought it was just a silver one. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
the difference is that the gold is awarded to a county
County, yeah.
and the silver is awarded to a municipality, so.
And we can get that process started for the silver this fall.
Okay. I mean, do you know, I mean, I think it's a good thing to do that because obviously it's recognizing people in the state that are trying to make improvements in parks or, accessibility, programs or whatever. I think that's important if that's like what we support. So I glad that we plan to do it again. So, okay.
And then we go into, the gold is in what months?
That's in the springtime when that process starts. We could probably just, because of COVID, we were unable to do last year's awards. That's
So next.
most
spring,
likely
I
what-
think we'll do that.
yeah, what
We
happened
missed a
there.
couple of years, it looks like.
Yeah,
But
well, okay.
Okay.
We'll pick that back up.
Yeah, we can pick that up starting next spring.
Good.
Okay.
We'll put it in the processes so we don't miss it.
The next item on the agenda is the label pins for the years of service. And I'll let Robin take this one. The main thing we want to do was see those and see if,
Yeah, just.
where are, do we have one?
I have them.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
You have them. I thought you would have them.
I have, well, I mean,
It's fine.
many
We'd like for
thanks
you
to
to
the
have
HR team for these. So, these are not agency developed. They're statewide.
Okay,
So
good.
every state agency is using the same ones. I can pass them around. You'll see they're marked 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 40-year, and each one is different. You can, here, I'll just open here.
Okay,
That one's
that's better.
open
That's better.
and you all can look at them. You can see that, the 10-year has, they each have a different number of gemstones at the bottom.
Okay. This is a state HR thing and we really don't have any.
You don't think we
Yeah.
should have one for DDSN specific, or how does that work?
They are statewide.
No agency
We
has
use the
specific.
state, the vendor, we all agencies order them
Same
the
one.
same. They're not specific to DDSN, but just the commitment to South Carolina government.
Okay.
We did not have to purchase any pins this year for those awards that we did in May, because we had surplus from prior years. So we
Okay.
didn't expend funds out of this year's budget for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there only, it's interesting, I would think this question, I guess.
I would like the staff to think about whether we want to do something for our specifically, for those people who have been with DDSN, they may have worked somewhere else for 10 years or whatever, but then came to DDSN and have been here for 30
Maybe
years.
30 or 40.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so you gotta look at that and see what you think
We could do
about it.
something, we can encompass it with this.
Yeah, I think, do that plus something, just to kind of let them people know, hey, these folks have worked, given their service to.
Maybe something with our new logo on it or something. Anyway.
Yes, we'll look at it.
Look at it and see what you
Absolutely.
think.
Absolutely.
All right. Next item.
Next item on the agenda is the videos, which is, and the main item is something we began discussing 10 months ago, which is the employment recruitment videos. So we were the commission or the committee was interested in creating those videos. Is that primarily what we were here to discuss today, and wanted, I assume, PJ to move forward on that if he could?
Yes, we are Well, we are in the process of putting together a job announcement for someone with a video background to come work with me on creating these projects. While we could use an outside agency to create the ones that we need right now, on the long term, I would foresee that we need somebody in-house to be able to do a lot more of the projects. I know video is the way a lot of people digest information now, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or any of the social media formats. So to meet that sort of demand, we need somebody with that background. I do have some video skills, but not that level of skill set. So we're looking to hire somebody with that skill set. But I can put together and develop that video that you need for employment.
I will tell y'all, one thing that I found in doing, videos for candidates and stuff, interns, especially the kids in college, high school, late high school, early college age, are unbelievable at this. They can do it with their cell phones faster than I can even talk about it. So you might want to think about offering an internship, especially for the summertime, for some students that would come in and that'd be a special project for them to work on. I know kids around the state are looking for opportunities to get those internships, especially I believe USC has a media arts degree, or they have some kind of media degree. And that might be a thing for us to really partner with the college, or either Midlands Tech may have something too, to partner with them to bring in some college students so they can get their internship in for the summer. Clemson may even have some. I know Pixar works with Clemson, so they may send someone up for the summer to do something with that. So that might be a great opportunity for us to partner.
Well, I have found that when in my previous job, when I hired somebody with that specific background, so I had a young person, much younger than me, take over our Instagram account. It went from just an average one to one that has tens of thousands of followers. So
it's amazing to me how much difference that
they
makes.
understand content and content development far better than an oldster like me. But
They do.
I completely agree, and that would be something I would offer once we get a video person in to at least establish our
Get started.
our program to get it started, and then get somebody specific that would take on, say, like our Instagram channel or create video specifically for social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or even, I don't know if we'll do TikTok, but if we want to reach out to the youngest of the consumers, they're all on TikTok right now.
But yeah, that's something I noticed about my demographic that I work with, and it's amazing the stuff they can do. So,
Last thing to mention about that is let's just say that whenever we do work on a video, the first video we do is a recruitment video for people to recruit for Ddsn.
Yeah.
Make that a priority, I guess I would say. The next item on the agenda relates to something I'm going to turn over to Robin, which is the Charles Lee Center I Have a Rights video.
Yep. So
I Have Rights, I'm sorry.
I recently saw this video and thought it was well produced, well done. Video that is important messaging for any consumer that we serve, to know and to hear and to watch, I guess, as they are either entering the Ddsn system for the first time or being placed in a residential home for the first time, or something that would be easy for them to watch and understand and hear what their rights are as people and people that we serve. And I just wanted to make sure that I shared that video with this agency in case there was an opportunity for us to do something like that for our regional centers. Don't know for sure if we have anything like that, but just thought it was a really well done video, and just the concept of it was really good. So That's really more of a informational sharing item for today, and something that, you know, I wanted the agency to kind of look at some point. So
I think I sent it to you.
Yes, we certainly can make a video
great.
along those lines, and I agree, it's a very powerful and important video that we need to affirm to the public that, you know, these are the same rights that we give the people we serve. So I would definitely see that that would be a project we would put on the as well as the employment video. So when the new video person comes, they will have filled with lots of projects.
Right. Okay. All right.
The next item on the agenda, we've got to go quickly, PJ, is the, we got old business to do and we're trying to do it within a reasonable amount of time, but the public relations part for last quarter and the future, and we focus on the future ones.
So first quarter, being this wintertime, generally is a slower news and event period. We did well, you know, a reach of 30,000 is respectable. The most recent quarter, coincidentally, is the quarter I started working for Ddsn. We did much better. We increased the number of posts. We increased the reach as well as our engagement. Engagement is important. Is when somebody sees a post, they either just look and keep going, and that counts. But engagement is they stopped, opened it up, read it, clicked on a link, or even went to somewhere we asked them to look at. So that shows that our content is good. 5%, you know, 6% seems low, but when you're talking the millions of eyes that see content nowadays, anything above 2 or 3% is considered very good. That's high engagement for social media. So along with that, I also developed our Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube social media platforms to reach out to different audiences that we have not reached out previously. And a very important one, YouTube, which will be carrying our video content once we start developing more videos. That'll be the platform that really carries a lot more weight down the road. We had one press release in the first quarter. We released 12 in the most recent quarter. All got very good coverage, whether it was TV, internet, social media, website, and even a few, you know, your traditional newspaper pickups also. And these are areas that, you know, based on my research, we haven't had a whole lot of representation in most recent years. So I hope that continues to trend as we move forward. You know, we went from 2 events in the first quarter to more than 20 in the last quarter. I've made it you know, a mission of mine to meet and work and get to know basically everybody that we work with, all our partners, all our potential partners. So I've been, you know, making my way as much as possible to be there to represent the agency and to let them know that, you know, what we do and what we can do for them and how we can work together. That's been my mission since I came into the agency, and that's should continue as we go forward. So going forward, we have a number of awareness days and events coming up. So next month we have disability awareness as well as Fragile X awareness. I know that there's a special decree that's been going on at the Capitol. I believe Commissioner Blackwood will be attending, as well as other members of Ddsn staff. We commemorating the American Disabilities Act also in July. August is a little bit slow, but you know, I'll find things for us to be at, so right now the big one is the adaptive surf event in Surfside Beach, which sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I was going to say, there's also another surfing event in Bali in August.
I could be there if we.
I know, I can't,
I can find
Surfers
it.
Healing, it's called Surfers Healing.
Okay.
They're a national program out of California, and they travel around the country and do these really amazing work.
And I encourage everyone out there, if you have an event that you feel we need to be represented, let me know, and I will make time to be there, or a representative will be there. We have the different heritage and awareness months coming up, September and October, Down syndrome awareness. We are looking into having a booth at the South Carolina State Fair. That is a very long 10 days of work, basically from morning into the evening. We'll have to, evaluate our resources to see whether or not we can do this.
They have a special disability day at the fair.
Okay.
They do it, I think, once, maybe twice in the, 10, 12 day, would you say 10?
I think it's 10 days.
Okay, I can't remember if they offer it two days, but I know they offer it one day of the fair. It's open for several hours to the disability community for free. And
You can make a big deal of that.
so that is maybe the day that you might want to have a booth there, or, I don't know what they'll allow, but they might allow you to have a presence
If we
there.
were gonna do a booth, they want us there the whole time and manned morning to the
Yeah,
morning to
that's
close
a
every
lot.
day.
But anyway,
Resource wise, it's a lot of resources on our end to ask
Yeah.
our employees to be there.
Yeah.
That
But
would be a day we could take whatever that day is, we make it
Yeah, it's
take,
on their
have our
website.
centers bring their folks. And
that would be
staff
a
and
different,
push that
but much more doable idea.
I mean,
And I can definitely look into that and make it happen.
And the commissioners, I'm sure, would be willing to come help with
Okay.
with that if we need to or whatever.
That's an excellent idea. I appreciate you
Yeah.
bringing that up.
I've gone to it once
Okay.
with my son, so that's kind of how I know about it. But
I will look into it.
yeah, it's on their calendar website. I was just trying to see if I saw the date, but go ahead.
Okay.
We'll circle back.
Outside of that, we are also going to be having our holiday market, again, our third holiday market in December. So we are already making preparations for that. We are meeting and we have let the consumers and the employment and day services know that we are hosting that just so we can get good representation and lots of vendors at this upcoming one. And that's slated for December 8th.
Okay.
As far as planned projects going forward, of course, we have the employment program video, the recruitment video. I would also, this person that we're hiring will also have a photography background. We currently don't have our own set of photos for our use. We're using basically file photos and other people's work. If we want to truly represent the agency, we should have photos of our people, our consumers, our programs, and that's a priority. I've taken some of it, but having another person on board with a specific photography and video background will help alleviate that. So we, as we go into the future on creating press and marketing materials, it'll be our people and our work and our agencies and not somebody else's work.
So the video and photography person will be the same, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I know we are also developing a special event and communications calendar, something that we can share internally with our people, as well as through our new digital signage network that will be connecting all the different regional centers, as well as with the public. So the public knows what events, like say we are going to be attending the state fair or announcing the special, like a disability day at the fair, or other events that we are involved with. So we'll be making be able to announce it at a much broader format to the public and to let more people know, what Ddsn is about and what we're doing and where and when we are doing things. One of the ways of addressing like the contact issue, if we develop an app, so once the website is made up, if we develop an app that has basically our core services, resources, and contacts for a person to just be able, as Commissioner Miller said, press a button and tell them exactly what you want. And it'll pull up that contact information or go ahead and dial it or produce a contact or an email for us. I would suggest an app would be a good way of handling that rather than having them try to sort through the many, many pages on our website, something that really goes to the core of what people want. And that's something that we would like to see developed along with the website. And this is just a personal one. The last part is I'm developing with South Carolina DNR fishing programs, therapeutic fishing programs for people with disabilities. It's something they've wanted to offer to the public. I am working on a training program with them to bring our people to teach their instructors, and they have several hundred in the state, to work with people with disabilities and start hosting fishing programs for people with disabilities, as well as creating a program at our regional centers. So Whitten and Midlands here are right next to or on properties that have ponds on them, and we can bring our people as well as invite the public to these events. So that's just kind of a personal thing. If you learn anything about me, I love to fish, and that's just my big deal. And that's all I have for you as far as public relations.
A couple things I'd like to add. We need to do a press release. We do it every year, and I forgot to say something about it at our last meeting. We need to do a press release about the officers of the commission and who was elected to be the officers of the commission. We need to do that and get it out pretty soon. The other thing I want us to start thinking about is to try to bring awareness. I know we have one commissioner whose child is involved in adaptive sports. And I've been trying to think of ways we can get, they found that adaptive sports help children with disabilities to come out of that shell and to be part of a team and to make friends and, that socialization. So one of the things I was thinking about is we need to look into possibly sponsoring and having an exhibition match of either a basketball or a wheelchair rugby team. I know Charlotte, Michelle's daughter, is a member of the team in Charlotte. And then there's a team I know at Shepherd. It's called the Shepherd Special. I think they actually have gone to national and all that kind of stuff. But if we could get them to come here or somewhere in South Carolina and do an exhibition match or an exhibition tournament, or we could sponsor a tournament or something, to try to encourage young children to get involved in these sports. And, because I think that's important to us, that we start them out thinking healthy and thinking about staying active. So if we could look into something like that, maybe.
I'm sure we can put something together.
Yeah.
I know the Special Olympics, South Carolina Special Olympics is very eager to work with us on programming, and I'm sure they would be a good resource and a partner in creating such an event.
Yeah, we have these wonderful adults, in South Carolina who were athletes that have gotten hurt and that kind of thing. And I'd just like to see us look at, because there's not a team in South Carolina. There's not a rugby team in South Carolina. So we need to encourage these people after their kids to continue being active and making those socialization contacts. So if we can look into something like that, I think that would be good for Ddsn to really spearhead some of that and start it, and hopefully it'll be picked up.
I can work on creating such an event.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm sure Michelle, I know her daughter is studying sports medicine and, or not sports medicine, she's studying recreational therapy. So she might be a great person to ask more about it. She plays wheelchair tennis. Okay. So.
I can see what sports I can get a hold of.
Clemson University is also starting an adaptive sports teams unit. So that might be they might be a great sponsor with us to do something like that.
So I will look to the local universities at their adaptive sports. One other thing I could add on to that, I am on the International Olympic Committee for USA Angling, and we are working to put together a Paralympic team for fishing. We're trying to bring fishing back in to the Olympics, either in 2024 in France, Paris, France, or 2028 in Los Angeles. So that is one of the other committees I'm working on right now, is creating a competitive bass fishing team for Paralympics.
That's great. I think it's great. I think we've got to encourage the people in South Carolina to make some healthy choices about continuing their socialization skills. And I want to let's really work on some of that for them. I think that helps with their, the mental, everything about that. I mean, that's all I have. 2 thoughts.
Before I get to old business, which I'm gonna try to go as quickly as I can on, there was something about our commission logo I wanted to bring up, which is, that I think is important to bring up so that we can get further along. We do have to decide on, or try to decide on, give them a good idea as to what colors we want to use. Do we want to, I would prefer we use the black and gold we've been using, but what would, for our commission logo? What would, or would we incorporate, or we, or
If
would
we're
we
gonna use
incorporate
the
that?
blue, we're gonna use the blue tree,
Well, no,
I
it
mean,
wouldn't
the
be a blue
tree.
tree, it would be a tree.
the same tree though that the other
Yeah.
logo has is
You can
blue.
do whatever color you want.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
like
a
the
few
blue. I think the
variations.
blue's pretty.
Yeah,
I think the
I don't-
blue is really pretty.
You could
I
do it
wouldn't
in
mind
2
seeing
ways.
us do, the blue background with maybe the gold tree, or do blue and gold on the commission and do blue and white on the agency. Like
We
gold.
can, yeah, you can look at it a couple ways, but try to incorporate, I guess what we're trying to say is try to incorporate gold and into our logo if you can,
Okay.
because it looks more.
The blue would be a consistency.
Yeah.
Over the 2.
Yeah.
And then add the gold for the commission to make it look more
I
formal.
can come up with a complimentary palette.
Does that help?
We incorporate it, sure.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up while we were talking, because I know colors is a big deal. Because if we start at one place, we'll never get there if we don't get the color. So, okay, next item on the agenda is I'm gonna try to go as quickly as I can on this. Is the old business, which is podium signs for the commission and agency, and I'll just take these together, the interior signs of the central office signage. We need to decide today if we are going to push on for the interior of this agency to have different signs. And if we are, the next meeting we have should have prices of those signs and with our new logo on it and exactly how they're going to read, so we can just approve the signs and get it started. Because none of us on this commission have a lifetime appointment, and we're not going to be here forever. So, and I want to, before I get off, I'd like to see that happen. So, in the next couple of years, for those that are listening, I'm not planning on getting off tomorrow, but it's just things take so long, so I'm trying to get to the
So
next
which
step.
particular interior signs are you speaking about? I mean, like, which ones were you thinking of when you say interior?
Well, I was thinking of the signs that are next to the doors, but it's just whatever interior signs we want to put. We need to decide, and we may not want to put any more. I'm just bringing up that we want to, whatever we do with signs, we want to try to decide what we're going to do today and get prices on it for the next meeting and all that. So if we may not want to do anything with signs, I just wanted to put this up so we could, because this is something we discussed 10 months ago, and I just want to either put it to bed or make it go forward. Now, either way is fine with me. We have a sign right now for the commission conference room, but that would obviously match all the rest of them if we did any other sign. And we may not need to do any other sign. I just wanted to do that one because we wanted to incorporate the commission conference room. So they would designate that one because it's never been designated before. So, but we may not want to do anything. I just wanted to bring this up so that we would know if we were or we weren't.
I would say we wait until we see the logo completed. And then we move forward from there, wouldn't you? Especially on
we
the
don't want to do the
podium.
signs until,
Yeah,
I don't want to do the signs until the logo is completed. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is, when the logo is completed, you can just go ahead and get us prices on the signs if we want to do signs at all. We may not want to do any signs.
Yeah, let's get prices on them. Why not?
Do we want to get prices on signs, or do we not want to mess with signs?
What do you think, Robin?
I mean, it's something else to do, and if we don't want to bother with it, they don't have to bother with it. I just wanted to ask it. And obviously, if we did, we'd have braille and things of that nature, I guess, but make it more handicap accessible, sort of. But we may not want to mess with it. I just wanted to ask.
I think
We may have too much to do already.
we should probably table that discussion. I mean, I know we've
Okay,
We did that sign right there behind you. We've done, some things along those lines.
we'll table that option for now. Just forget about that one for now and we'll go back to it if we ever decide to.
There's no internal discussions about doing anything with any of the door signage for any reason. Is there just?
We do need a sign that says quiet whenever the commission's, we've been talking about doing that sign too, that on the hallways, it says quiet while the commission's in process. By the way, we do need a sign for that whenever you can, with it has a new logo, our logo on it. We want a couple of signs that say quiet because the commission's meetings.
Commission logo or the DDSN?
See, that needs to be the commission.
That would be the commission logo, because that has to do with a commission meeting.
Wait till we get that.
Okay.
But we obviously want to wait till the commission's over, the commission's, well, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have some sort of sign for that, but we'd have to have the commission logo for that. But anyway, immediately upon getting a commission logo, we want to do that sign and get that started. Anyway, the next item on the agenda is, or the last item on the agenda is commission events, which is and we may not even want to do these or not. There's another thing I wanted to either put to bed or initiate, one of the two. Either way is fine. One is the Ddsn provider meet and greet that I had an idea of a year or so ago.
Yep.
And the other is the community commission meeting, which I felt could be incorporated with the quarterly meetings that we have across the state.
I do too. That's kind of what
I think that's what we want to do with that.
Yeah.
Is it's like whenever Ed and I went to Charleston, sorry, it's not able to be here still. We went way over what I hope we would do here today. But when we had that in Charleston, we could have easily done that right after the commission meeting,
The next one would be, what, in January, is that right? Would that be quarter,
No, the next one would be in September,
September?
because we just had one in June, so it'd be, that was the June, July, August one, so it'd be September, October, or November.
Okay, so let's maybe October would be a good month, maybe. Where do y'all want to go for that next time? Do we want to go towards the coast? Do we want to go towards Charleston area?
We'll go to Charleston. Or you go further coast, which would be Beaufort, but that'd be too small. So we want to go.
We got to go where there's a school that can accommodate us, really.
Yeah, we do need to work on a college, on a community college or something to do with.
All right.
So,
I mean,
Charleston we would have to see if Charleston was interested, I guess. But I guess, Charleston would be next, or,
okay.
you have another idea, Robin, better?
No.
think
I don't want
Charleston
to
would be-
accentuate Charleston too much since I'm from there, but
No,
that makes
Yeah, I
it-
mean, the only-
from the area, excuse me, I'm from Beaufort, sorry.
I mean,
For those that listen.
in terms of community meetings, we obviously have one in the upstate, which we did, one in the low country.
Well, we need Greenville next, but that would be a
We
while.
don't,
PD would have to be covered, which is over that way, and then Aiken Company, that way would be the four areas, right?
So we would either do PD next or do Charleston next, either one.
Yeah.
And it would be, either way is fine with me, but we need to decide what we're gonna do.
PD would be better in the wintertime, to be honest, because of the beach and all the beach traffic and stuff. So I would aim the beach stuff toward the winter. Charleston is better, I think, in the fall probably, because they don't seem to be as, their traffic isn't as heavy, I think, in the fall. That's one of the reasons we went to the upstate in the summertime, is you couldn't find anywhere at the beach that could accommodate during the summer.
during
So,
the tourism.
Well, this quarter will be September, October,
yeah.
September, October, or November is when we would do the next
Let's aim for the Charleston area.
in October.
And we'll see if maybe the College of Charleston or MUSC, I know could probably accommodate us. The Medical University could probably have a facility
If they would.
to accommodate. How far, tell me, Coastal Center is where? It's in Somerville, correct?
Somerville, yeah.
That's near Trident
Mhm.
Tech, isn't it?
College.
Yeah,
So that might
we
be-
would want to try that first. Try to
And,
take it first.
Southern,
Charleston Southern.
Yeah,
And they have a good media arts kind of program too, so they may have a facility that can accommodate. And then I would like that afternoon for us to tour Coastal Center as well.
Yeah.
If y'all are good with that.
Yeah, we'd be good.
That was a great opportunity for us the other day to really visit Witten and see. I was excited that we took the pocketbooks. They were so excited about their pocketbooks. So that was pretty exciting.
So, yeah, okay.
Okay, so
Okay, well then,
Charleston area.
Charleston area in October would be our next community and commission
Okay.
meeting combined, and,
What are we gonna do about this meet and greet thing?
well, maybe nothing, but it's just, I'm not saying we're gonna do anything, but I just wanted to see if we were.
How are y'all communicating with the providers, Dr. Fry? Can you kind of give us some?
Wait a minute, I'm
Okay,
sorry
go ahead.
for you, I'm sorry. To interrupt you of all people, I'm so sorry.
But what I was saying was, the purpose of, my idea behind that, and the purpose of it was that, as far as I know, we never have had one to meet with really the county boards and the boards of private providers. So it's really not providers, it's really boards of providers.
Okay.
So in other words, there would be a representative or two from each board or each provider that had a board, each private provider that had a board. I'm assuming there are some that have a board that oversees them, is that correct?
Yeah, they are,
Yes.
they are.
So they would be invited too.
Okay.
It's what my idea was. Now, it may be a done idea, and it may not want to do it. I just wanted to bring it up.
So if I may, to the first question, we did establish a monthly provider meeting, which did not used to exist.
Okay.
It's next week, and that there's an established email address with providers can send topics they want us to address. Otherwise, we populate the agenda. It's for all providers. It's not, one group versus the other group versus privates. And we also have made a really purposeful effort to always accept the invitations to participate. For example, this week, a number of executive team and staff presented at the Executive Leadership Academy. That's our second time. We'll continue to do that. There are 4 rounds of that. So we have made a purposeful outreach approach through those monthly meetings. At the last one, we were asked if we would start to open that up to be potentially in person if they would choose. And we said we would start figuring out space to make it not just virtual. To this other question, my recommendation would be that for this year, you subsume that via the strategic planning. So that strategic planning document is drafted so that as we go through the process, there will be purposeful outreach to all stakeholders, including but not limited to advocacy groups, providers, consumers and their families. So whenever I have participated in strategic planning before, you have normally had community meetings, town halls, et cetera. So if you're going to be setting those up as part of the strategic planning process, that will be a great method to do that, because you'll be inviting boards and directors as part of that process. And then, since you only typically do strategic plans for 5 years, and future years, if you want to have DSN board and provider meet and greets, then we could do it. But this year, I think you'll cover it through the strategic planning process. But it's obviously whatever the will of the commission is.
And 2, I would really like for us to reach out, especially to the providers in the areas where we're holding these meetings, especially those within those congressional districts that are fed by that, and make sure that all the providers know that we would like for them to attend and their board, someone from their board, whether it be their board chairman or their vice chairman, that it's really critical that they're at that commission meeting, and we will allow extra time for them to speak, because that's how we get our feedback.
Well, it's also important that people know who we are so they can reach out to us. I mean, if we're representing the public and their interests, whether they're a provider or individual, they need to know, they need access to us. And that looks like many different ways. I mean, obviously we have our website bio, and we obviously have this meeting, every meeting every month. But many people, don't know about that commission meeting.
Yeah.
And we need them to know about the commission meeting because we exist as a commission to hear from people,
That's right.
to represent their needs, their wants, their problems.
Mhm.
And so the more we can make that easier for them to know who we are, see us if they're interested in meeting us or talking to us. I mean, obviously they can listen to the commission meetings, but which is why we just thought about doing something quarterly, because it gets us out into the community and it to be more inviting, to different areas of the state for people, who actually do want to share with the commissioner what problems they have or what they need or what their issues are, or,
Let's really aim for doing that with part of the strategic plan this year. I think that's important. But let's also really, really promote the one in Charleston and try to get those providers down there to show up. I think, I don't know what we have to do to get them there, but I would like them and at least a board member so we know who their board members are, I think.
And if I could just dovetail from one of the comments that you had made, I do think, and I don't think we have any of the Ddsn legal team in, but my recommendation is if the plan of the commission for these community meetings is to make a shift from typical public comment policy, because I hear you say, we'll give you extra time, then that needs to be formalized.
We
so
have
that
it's there.
it's always for what?
Actually, what we could do, and what I was just gonna say, instead of changing our time that somebody would have, we can vote, by the way, for them to have extra time at any meeting you want to, but a better way to do it, I would think, would be to have our meeting, the business of the commission be finished, and then to adjourn that meeting, and then to have a question and answer session from the people.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just meant
Yeah.
if you're talking about expanding from the 3 minutes,
Yeah.
that if we're going to have a rule of 3 minutes for public comment, we really have to adhere to that with fidelity and consistency. So if the idea is, well, for town meetings, we're gonna change that to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just so long as we have a policy and procedure that we can be consistent and implement with fidelity, that will be cleaner on our
Sure.
part. So if that's the interest, then I think that we would just want to formalize that for certain, meetings such as the quarterly team,
Sure.
that then we expand the public comment from 3 minutes to whatever time that you all think would be
Sure.
appropriate.
I think that's important too. We do need to note that.
We could, but the easier way to do that would be just like I say, to have the commission meeting end and then let people talk.
Yeah.
To us. So we basically have a second meeting almost, because when we had this meeting in Charleston before, a year and a half ago or so.
Listening sessions.
Listening sessions is what we called it.
Mhm.
It was literally a listening session. So what I was thinking was that at the end of the meeting, we would have our listening session, which would basically be the people from the public, whoever wanted to show up, who came to hear something they had to say to us, as opposed to, it would be an expanded public comment, but it would be after the meeting was over.
Yeah, that's fine. My only comment is whatever the rule is on the total time,
Give it to everybody.
that it's consistently applied. So even if, whether it's listening session or part of the formal comments, whatever those parameters are, they just need to be established in advance,
And we may
communicated
need,
and.
yeah, we may
applied
need to in the future have, because it's hard for me to manage everything that I manage and keep a timer.
Yeah.
So we may have to get a member of staff to watch the time for us and let us know when, perhaps set a timer when a person starts, it goes off at 3 minutes, because it is extremely difficult to manage everything that we manage up here.
Yeah,
I agree.
Fully
So
agree.
that's
I just
what
wanted
we
to flag
may
it
have
since
Yeah.
you commented on that.
Please remind them to do that for me, because it is extremely difficult. Set the timer and then
Yeah.
turn it off, so
And get PJ to do that for us. We don't.
that might be okay. PJ's intern that I'm getting.
That's right. The next item of the agenda is the next meeting, which
We don't know when that'll be, depending on, well, that'll be to be announced, I would assume.
Yeah.
Be the best way to handle that. And then the last item is adjournment. So if and this I do need a motion for, so we have you have to adjourn meetings with motion. So.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that.
Very good, thank you. We are currently adjourned at 2:31.